The ink is barely dry on the historic Versailles Peace Treaty, and Donald Trump has just completely upended the negotiation table yet again. Just days after signing a 60-day interim ceasefire with Iran to end the devastating West Asia war, Trump took to Truth Social on Saturday, June 20th, 2026, to issue a jaw-dropping, unprecedented ultimatum to the entire international community. He announced that if a final, permanent agreement with Tehran isn't reached within the 60-day window, the United States military will step in and physically impose massive, mandatory shipping tolls on all commercial vessels transiting the strategic Strait of Hormuz. The room went dead silent on Wall Street as economists scrambled to calculate the fallout of this massive economic threat. Trump boldly defended the potential maritime fees, stating the money would act as direct reimbursement to Washington, services rendered as the guardian angel to the countries of the Middle East, for purposes of both past, present, and future reimbursement of costs. His public post directly, explicitly clarified his move, declaring, "There will be no tolls in the Hormuz Strait for 60 days during the ceasefire period, and there will be no tolls after the 60-day period has expired, unless they are imposed by and for the United States of America, should the deal not be completed." This sudden toll threat has triggered absolute panic across global shipping lanes, where control of the world's most critical oil choke point remains completely unsettled. Under the original terms of the Interim Memorandum of Understanding, ships were promised completely toll-free transit. But because the initial treaty left a glaring loophole regarding who legally regulates the waterway long-term, Trump realized that if the 60 days expire without a final deal, Iran or its Gulf neighbors might try to levy their own fees. By threatening a unilateral American takeover of the Strait's financial logistics, Trump is executing a masterclass in maximum pressure brinkmanship, warning both Iran and global energy consumers that defiance will cost them billions. The timing of this ultimatum could not possibly be more volatile. Just hours after Trump floated the U.S. toll system, the Iranian military command issued an emergency broadcast on state television, aggressively declaring that they were closing the Strait of Hormuz yet again. Tehran claimed that continued Israeli airstrikes in Lebanon constituted a direct, clear breach of the U.S. commitments to enforce a total multi-front ceasefire, threatening that the entire Switzerland Peace Summit would be completely jeopardized if the fighting didn't stop immediately. But instead of backing down to Iran's sudden blockade threat, the Trump administration fired back with absolute, overwhelming defiance on Saturday afternoon. U.S. Central Command immediately disputed Iran's claims of a shutdown, with a military spokesperson delivering a blunt warning to Tehran, stating, "Iran does not control the Strait of Hormuz. Traffic continues to flow, and U.S. forces are monitoring the situation to ensure this remains the case." To back up the administration's leverage, Vice President JD Vance announced that a record 17 million barrels of oil successfully moved through the waterway on 55 merchant ships in a single day, proving that the U.S. military is already actively policing the passage. This entire high-stakes maritime standoff is setting the stage for a brutal diplomatic cage match as technical-level negotiations officially kick off in Geneva, Switzerland. Trump has sent his absolute heaviest hitters to the table, deploying a high-profile American delegation led by Vice President JD Vance, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, and his son-in-law Jared Kushner to squeeze a final nuclear agreement out of the Iranian delegation. Trump's strategy is now undeniably clear to everyone. He is using the threat of devastating U.S. shipping tolls and the resumption of intense bombing campaigns as an economic gun to Tehran's head. The global economy is now bracing for a wild 60-day countdown. If Trump's team in Switzerland successfully forces Iran to permanently dismantle its nuclear program, global trade moves forward toll-free. But if the talks collapse, or if regional spoilers shatter the fragile truce, Trump has already drawn a terrifying new line in the sand, and the United States will assume total financial and military control over the world's most vital energy hub. What do you think about Trump's aggressive shipping toll ultimatum? Was he right to threaten American control of the Strait of Hormuz to force Iran into a final deal? Or is acting as the region's self-proclaimed guardian angel an incredibly dangerous economic gamble? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Drop a like, make sure you are subscribed to the channel for more raw, high-drama political breakdowns, and I will see you in the next video.